Welcome to episode 5 of Against the Insanity. We've got Jason, Ricky, and Nick. We are back again for another show for you guys. What's going on, gentlemen?
Oh, not a whole lot. Changing the clock definitely fucked me up this morning, but yeah, we're here.
Yeah, I almost didn't get up right away either. Like, I was so fucking tired. I'm literally on my first pot of coffee.
I was actually up at the crack of dawn, waiting for the old sun to shine as they danced around the sun, just basking in with the land of the fresh brewed coffee.
I'll mute this motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
I saw Nick texting me like super fucking early in the morning because obviously since I'm on the West Coast, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Nick's like, "Oh, I'm up if you want to pop on."
Jesus, yeah,
I'm still fucking half asleep, Nick. Thanks.
Oh man, I was up. I was showered. I was ready to rock and roll. Got my coffee. I'm ready to annoy the world.
Yeah, I got some fucking new coffee from Trader Joe's the other day. It's kind of like a light roast, dude. This shit's fuck. So I wanted to kick this one off this week. I'm sure everybody knows or has used Facebook at one point or another, but Facebook's name changed to Meta, and I wanted to kind of like bring that up for a topic of discussion because there's some interesting things revolved around that in general. So I kind of wanted to talk about I've actually been off of Facebook now for I think coming up almost on 2 years, during the height of all this political bullshit and stuff. Like, I went through a phase where I literally deleted everybody off my Facebook page. I deleted a couple years worth of posts. I couldn't delete all my posts or I'd be going back in time to fucking way back when, and that'd be ridiculous. It'd be really hard to do, but I just got fed up with it, so I can't speak from a Facebook user anymore on the name change, but I've been over the last couple of years, I've been doing some fucking research on Facebook and stuff. And, an interesting topic, if you really want to go down a rabbit hole with Facebook, is possibly the original name that was going to be used for Facebook, or I guess as the Defense Department was working on a project called Lifelog. If you want to look at some similarities, you should definitely, if you have some time as a user or a listener of the show, go back and look at what Lifelog was going to do and kind of look at the similarities between Facebook. I know you guys, we've talked about it a lot in the past, but I mean, it pretty much was everything Facebook represents today. And, interesting enough, the fact that, I don't know if you guys know, but recently Facebook actually is just disabling their facial recognition software after all these years.
I heard about that. Something
I never liked when it started showing up and tagging Amy in my photos and stuff like that. It got really fucking freaky. That's one of the many reasons why I wanted to get rid of the bullshit to begin with. And also, the interesting thing about the name change to Facebook Meta is Meta. A lot of people have been comparing it to if you look up the definition of meta in Hebrew, it means dead. And to be honest, to me, Facebook really does seem like it's on its way out. So it's just an interesting choice of name. And, obviously Zuckerberg talks about the metaverse and, the virtual reality goggles. And I watched his interview with fucking Gayle King on fucking whatever the fucking morning show it was. And it was pretty fucking cringe. But I can tell you, I am not a fan anymore, and I really hope that the actual meaning of Meta is the reality Facebook comes to be, honestly.
Right. Very interesting timing, because I know, China just recently started getting into this whole metaverse, and here we are now. Facebook is, following suit. I just think that it's more of a measure to, try to track people. I also find it's going to be a platform more so than it is now, where you can start, silencing people. Even on YouTube, there's videos that, we have come across, we like to watch, certain channels we like to, follow. And, we don't get, the feed or the news when new videos are dropping, and a lot of people are being silenced, and it seems like this platform is going to play to that, where they're going to use it to silence even more people than it already is, in my opinion. What was going on with China, like I said, they kind of started this metaverse, and then Facebook decided they were going to follow suit, and and one of the things that they were talking about here was using it to silence bullying behavior on the internet. But, I think there's a lot more than that this is going to bring up. So,
well, bear with me here for a second. First, I was actually looking up the scene from Boondock Saints, the symbolism, where William Dafoe goes to symbolism here. I was going to play that as an introduction clip, but basically, I mean, really, the metaverse of data, the way that's been collected over the years, I've been a riffraff on the internet for a long fucking time. I've done a lot of like message boards between just like music shit, underground like information shit, and also just like video game shit. And I mean, the metaverse has been a thing since probably like 2002, 2003, and it's become a self-indulged concept, really, where people just pretty self-arrogant, thinking mostly everyone wants to know about what they're doing or how they're doing in a certain fathom. So the information gathering is pretty fucking simple. And yeah, it is being used to pretty much coerce the public into a certain mindset to be a slave. I mean, just look at people with certain trends, whether it's music or TV, sports, movies, games even, and then certain themes that are carried throughout each one's like the Vikings. Like last 10 years, have you guys noticed how it's mostly been a Viking period?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's all over TikTok and shit, too. Like, you see people, like, dressing up like Vikings, singing Viking songs and stuff like that. I mean, you see it across a lot of social media.
Right. Okay. Now think about back when it was a Renaissance period, back in 2002-ish, and how that bled and carried and revitalized itself in 2008. There's quite a few TV shows for a while to around 2014, 2015, it went more Nordic. Did you guys notice that trend around that point?
I mean, I've never really followed. I mean, I know like the video games and stuff because that's what we got like in Assassin's Creed and shit. So
right, and there's also stuff on like History Channel and a little bit of like those actual themed TV shows like AMC.
Well, I mean, history's become the reality / propaganda channel at this point. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could say there might be some history on there still.
Mm-hmm. Right, now, just continue to bear with. And if you look at everything on the mass scale form, and how most people were made to either be a victim or either made to be the villain, I mean, it's all pretty controlled through simplistic information gathering and what trend is shitty versus what trend is more popular and how you can use that to just guilt trip anybody or everybody versus those to make that are with it to look like the villain.
I basically just wanted to say too, before I move on from this topic, is, you know, I remember back when they changed the algorithm initially and they're like, oh, we're going to be using your news feed to bring you more news and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And it became less about like seeing what my friends are doing. And next thing you know, I'm being bombarded with stories. And eventually it gets to a point where I'm being bombarded with stories that I cannot fucking stand. And also opinions of people I can't fucking stand on Facebook. And it really like, it just started to highlight the worst of the internet. You know, you're seeing all those police brutality fucking videos and stuff like that. And it's just content that really aggravates you and frustrates you and sends you like into like a rage. And, you know, it's finally, you know, 2 years ago, I finally just got fed up with it, with the politics and shit like that. Like, you know, a lot of people's politics I don't agree with, and just some very personal things like I could really care less about that you're posting. And I'm just glad to finally be done. And I really hope that, you know, this is the end of Facebook, hopefully, moving forward, because I'm over it.
Respect. Right. Well, that, to realize real quick, and that goes back to your original point, thank you, with the guilt tripping and the shaming of people. Well, that's another thing, too, the reason why I ditched all my shit a long time back as well. Just seeing some of the shit politically, even just on the non-political aspect that it was being made political, the demonization of people and the dehumanization of people as well. That was just a major, like, all right, I'm an asshole, but then there's a line that even I don't cross, let alone would even comprehend to think about crossing. And motherfuckers are doing that shit freely. And I'm sitting there like, these motherfuckers don't really value life. So, yeah.
And I believe it was intentional, too.
Exactly. It went from being hilarious to trolling and just banner to shitposting to like people became a self-absorbed fucking toxic entity that's like, I'm out, peace.
Like, in my opinion, I really don't think that this is going to go away. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying like Facebook as it is today, but what I'm saying is like the whole social media platform where people are posting all their shit on the internet, their life and all this type of stuff. I really, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't see it going anywhere. People are so vested into the whole, social media / Facebook, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to continue to go on, in my opinion. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. Do I have a Facebook? Yes. Do I post things on there on a daily, basis? Hell no. Like I can't even remember the last time I put anything on there, about anything. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't see it going away. I think it needs to, and more people need to understand that there is a lot of bad with having a Facebook like that. People use it all the time for in real life applications. For example, you apply for a job. People will go on your fucking Facebook and kind of get an idea of what type of person you are just based off your Facebook. From your profile to comments that you make with your friends or other people, how you interact with other people. Political views are definitely on there. That's one things that people see and can judge you for it. Right there and then can be a deciding factor if you're going to get this job that you applied for, just because of your political views or things that you have said on your Facebook. For some people, that's so cool. I can get on here and post pictures and, post this of, my vacation or my whatever. And people love it for that fact. But you need to understand that, it's a double-edged sword here where there's bad and there's good. And in my opinion, there's more bad than there's good, to be quite frank with it. And the fact that they're going into this metaverse and, making it even more involved with, tracking you and seeing the type of shit that, you're saying and doing online, things like that. I just feel like it's just going to open up more of a can of worms. It's going to, like I said, silence more and more people that are trying to, regardless of, politics. This isn't just politics, but, you say something and someone might not agree with what you have to say, and you're just going to get silenced and canceled and thrown off a platform over this shit. And I just feel like this Meta platform is taking it to the next level where it's going to be able to track more and more of your everyday life on this platform. So those are my feelings on it. And like I said, people really, I'm not telling anybody, not to use Facebook or to use Facebook. I mean, it's your decision, but I'm just saying, think about it a little bit before you hit that post button, depending on what you're posting, and realize that, just because you posted something and maybe at the time it seemed right to say something to somebody. And then later on down the line, you decide, oh, you know what? I said this. I was kind of angry. I was pissed off. Let me delete this post. Your shit's never truly deleted. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing people need to truly grasp and understand, that your shit is not just gone on the internet just because you hit a delete button.
With Facebook Meta now, you can celebrate your divorce anniversary in virtual reality too, if you really want to.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not going to dwell on it, but I'll move on at this point. But
people are, oh my god!
Dude. I'm just going to say one thing. I have to say one thing. That's been a thing for a while. I've been on video game forums. Like I said, I was a riffraff on the internet for years. That's been a thing with some of the most subversive or toxic motherfuckers on the internet for years. And the fact that it's finally divulged into more of the normal social media trends, I'm not surprised. It just sickens me because of how advanced it's actually gotten.
I just don't understand people that actually will sit there and, celebrate it, quote unquote. Like, why are you celebrating that?
It's especially where you got married in the first place too, right. as we discussed, right. in private for individual reasons. But I mean, that was pretty cringe. That was probably one of the worst. Thank God that I don't have a Facebook anymore.
Humbleness and grace is missing from that. That's all I'm going to say, and I'm going to leave it at that.
So, Nick, Florida teacher charged with child abuse days after being named Teacher of the Year. She really goes to bat for students, huh?
Well, I would grade that a C+. C+. Jacksonville, Florida educator was charged with child abuse against a student just 2 days after being named Teacher of the Year. Caroline Molina Lee is facing a felony charge of abuse following her arrest Friday. Lee was arrested after calling a student into a classroom to speak privately after allegedly striking the female student on the face. She denied it, of course, and because she's a young teen and it's a school, she still was arrested, and they're going over the incident. It's pretty funny, to be honest.
So, like, I mean, do you think maybe the student fucking said something over the line that sent her over the edge? She was trying to give her constructive criticism. I'm just curious. Like, this is like, I'm very curious.
I'm thinking, and this is me being a piece of shit, and this is me breaking it, going beyond the planes of being a piece of shit. I'm saying it's here it is. It's two broads. Now we got one older and one younger. The teacher probably is right on whatever it is she's right about, and the younger one being callous and shallow probably created the situation, and the teacher probably just put her hands up to defend herself, more than likely, and just carefully brushed her away. And because of that, it's being labeled child abuse. And I'm going to say this. Some kids deserve a fucking beating. In today's classes, I could not be a teacher. I would not want to be a teacher. Like, some kids deserve a fucking clock in the face. Closed fist. Because the parents at home aren't doing their fucking job.
Yeah, being a teacher today, I mean, it's got to require nerves of steel. Because, I mean, like, when I look at, you know, when we were in school and the shit that, you know, we put substitute teachers through and stuff like that, you knew that it was a new teacher, and it was just basically like they were thrown to the wolves because, I mean, we would do everything in our power to freaking, you know, torture these fucking teachers and stuff like that. And it was intentional. You know what I mean? It's not like it was by accident. We did it intentionally to piss these people off. And I can only imagine today, and, you know, with how unruly these kids and stuff are, that, you know, you're named Teacher of the Year one day, and next thing you know, you're punching a kid in the face because, I mean, these kids today, I want to punch some of them in the fucking face. I mean, just hearing some of the shit that comes out of their mouth.
I know, and it's like some of these motherfuckers don't understand how lucky they are to be around in the era they are, because if they were alive, you know, X amount of years ago or like 40, 50 plus years back, they would have been clocked so fucking hard, so fast, they wouldn't even know how to comprehend time.
So they're not really saying, like, if this is, like, officially, like, legitimate, that this actually happened.
It's an investigation. It probably sounds like maybe the girl might have blown it out of control too, or she said something that did send the teacher into a rage. I mean, you know what the shit that goes on today, Ricky, and some of these
right.
It's like,
that's what I'm saying. The girl probably got pissy, and then she said something catty back, and they clocked claws like fucking assholes, and then that's probably what it was, more than likely.
These damn fucking young pricks.
But I saw that and I was like, that's a hilarious filler story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say either way because, you know, we don't really know what the fuck's going on here.
Yeah, well, this is one of those stories that you got to let it play out. You let the investigation happen and stuff, because you've seen more and more times where stuff gets blown out of proportion because, you know, the students say one thing and actually it was another.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would definitely let it play out.
Just smooth it.
But I would understand if this teacher hit this kid for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess we're gonna have to find out what unfolds from this. But I mean, could I see it happen? A teacher doing that? Yeah, man, maybe. You know what I mean? But I also know, you know, it could be just a kid trying to. Maybe they don't like the teacher and they're just trying to fucking, you know, do some shit to get the teacher in trouble based off nothing. So I mean, to be honest with you, I have witnessed that happen, you know, in person. You know, I won't go into details, but you know, when I was in high school, there was a girl that didn't like a particular teacher, and she openly would talk about how, you know, she wanted to get said teacher in trouble. Just because she didn't like him. Not because he did anything. Just, you know, because she just didn't like the teacher and she was planning on, you know, coming up with this whole fucking thing about getting this teacher in trouble. And it backfired on her because, like, she openly talked to other students about it. So I can see that happening too. I said, I've seen it. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. I'm sure we'll see a follow-up at some point.
Yeah.
Probably a bad grade. Caddy comment, claws came out. And that's probably about it.
So this shit I started hitting you guys up yesterday about because this really just fucking blew my mind at what happened at this fucking show the other day. I pulled up this article on TMZ to kind of go through like some of what happened. So Travis Scott, I guess he's a rapper. He was putting on this Astro World like concert like show for people in Houston. And basically, I'll kind of read it from the story at TMZ here real quick. So Travis Scott Astroworld security pricked in the neck with needle, says Houston PD. The Houston PD's chief, Troy Finner, just confirmed what we've been told, namely that at least one person has been injected with something via a needle. There may have been more. Chief Finner said the security guard working the event felt a prick in his neck by an unknown assailant when he was trying to restrain a citizen, and he quickly fell unconscious. Finner says the guard received the use of Narcan, and medical professionals did indeed see something on his neck indicated he had been stabbed with a syringe. Finner also said some people had been trampled, and it appears there were a mix of reasons why people were injured/passing out, and perhaps why some died. The total number of people who have passed away remains at 8, and autopsies are underway to determine the cause of death for each. So now this is where things kind of get a little weird for me because like I've been hearing mixed reports. I've been hearing mixed reports that at least 11 people have died so far. And also the fact that some of the people did not freaking get trampled. These people went into cardiac arrest. And I saw video because, I mean, there's all kinds of video that made it out there on the social media, like especially TikTok. TikTok, there is a lot of people out there like covering this and saying like, we're just in the show. The person dropped and started shaking. I mean, I saw a video of a kid on the ground, like literally shaking and convulsing. And we've been to a lot of shows. I've been to Warped Tours over the summer where it's been, you know, like almost 100 degrees. I have seen people like, you know, occasionally pass out. But this many people, like, this is just, I mean, yes, you've got drugs involved too. I will recognize the fact that people could be using all kinds of drugs at shows.
Right.
However, like, it just seems excessive.
Well, yeah, that and the fact that, you know, going back to what you said, you know, somebody injecting some kind of shit into people's neck. Like somebody was pumping people with this shit. So more and more reasons why I fucking hate going out in big, you know, gatherings of people. I just don't fucking trust people.
But we've been to all kinds of shows, Ricky. I mean, come on, think about it.
Yeah.
At big shows like Warped Tour and stuff like that. And a lot of this shit never really happened at shows like that. Now, the world's a different place, you know.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Like the way that things are today, I just more and more I find myself not wanting to get involved with a large group of people. Yeah, I mean, we've been to shows, you know, I had a great time on a lot of the shows that we've been to, you know what I mean? Right. And I just don't trust people anymore, dude. Like, I'm sorry, I don't. And you know,
you can't.
Yeah.
Welcome to the old man club.
Just, I don't know, dude. Go ahead, Nick.
There's so much shit here.
Yeah.
For one, it kind of reminds me of the Burning Man festival situation or deal. And then if you look at it with the occult aspect too, from some of the photos, some of the videos, some of the stage setups with the pyrotechnics too. And then you also got to think about the age group and the age bracket of the men and women, females and males, aka human trafficking. You know, there's going to be people snatched up, taken, mostly women and girls. Especially with a heavy drug influenced event like that, you know, people are getting snatched and taken. It's in Houston too. That's a more conservative area. Interesting. There's just so much shit there too. Plus the other aspect is with the event like that, mass hysteria. So some people, if they see somebody convulsing, they may freak out, have a anxiety attack, and then may duplicate that, you know, whatever. And then there's the other people that are actually having an actual cardiac arrest too. Then you also got to think about crowd control, keeping everyone calm enough so they don't trample and go fucking nuts.
The thing is, when these people were laying on the ground, there was a huge circle around them. So there's not evidence of somebody that's fucking been trampled. It's the crowd panicked. Something sent this crowd into a panic when these people started dropping. And I don't feel like these people were crushed. I really don't. I mean, and Houston, Texas still gets pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like in the evenings and stuff like that. It does cool down. I mean, it snows down there and shit. So, like, I don't know. Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it too. Like, everyone was required at this concert to be vaccinated. You can take with that what you will when you have a lot of young people, and you've seen some of the side effects that have happened to young people with mitochondria, whatever the fuck, I can never fucking pronounce it right, with the cardiac arrest. And, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that was the cause because, obviously you've got drugs involved here and that could cause a heightened state of. However, like, it just seems excessive. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to go down the conspiracy route here, but you're seeing a lot more of it lately.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, but the fact that there was someone injecting shit in people too, though.
I mean, it could be both. But I mean, when have we ever been to a concert that it's gotten that fucking crazy? Like, this is a different type of crowd.
Well, who is Travis Scott? I don't even know who this person is, to be honest.
He's a fucking rapper, and I guess he was married to Kylie Jenner. I guess he still is. They were together, and then
I watched a little bit of that video. If that ain't rapping, that's like, hey, that's like me being drunk trying to flow. That ain't shit.
You mean like every day on Discord?
Basically, yeah. No, but in all seriousness, I watched the video and like the way he's just kind of watching it go down and happen. Like,
and he didn't do shit. He didn't stop the show until like after people. I mean, people were rushing the stage and telling them the shit was going on. Like any other band, like even when a fight breaks out. I mean, I've watched bands just stop the show to break up fights. Yeah. I mean, you got people fucking dying at your show and you're still performing? Like, who thought that was okay? And there were interviews with kids and like, there was just something evil about what was going on. Like, and kids were legitimately scared, like watching the reactions of certain people that were posting on TikTok and stuff. It scared them. Whatever was going on, like they, and people know what to expect at shows. And this was something, it seemed like it was something different. So like, I really want to see how this plays out because like the media is giving one narrative, but what I'm seeing from people who were there and filmed actual video of these people laying on the ground, flopping around in like, cardiac arrest and stuff like that, like, is a different story.
Yeah, so that doesn't tell me that people were being trampled.
No, it doesn't. And it tells me that people were legitimately scared and they didn't know what was going on. So I really want to I want to see what happens. And I don't necessarily want to see it from the media. I want to see interviews, I want to see just people posting their actual reactions from the show and stuff like that. That's why I love TikTok. As much as I hate it sometimes because it's such a time waster, like you do actually get good reactions from people and stuff like that. And on the ground, like, hey, we were here. This is what we saw. So I really want to see how this plays out because this is just weird. It's weird in general. And I thought it would be a good topic for the show because I was like, once this fucking went down, I was like looking at all kinds of shit. It sent me down a fucking rabbit hole. So this is a good one.
The first thing I noticed, and this is the last thing I'll really say for the moment, is the one thumbnail picture with it. If you look at it and the pyramid scheme that it is, and then with the flames and the pyrotechnics and that, I was like, that's the first thing I saw in the one thumbnail. I was like, fucking occult right off the bat. I was like, damn.
Yeah. I mean, the symbolism and shit like that. And, yeah, I agree. A little bit more of a hot take on this story. I figured to finish this off with something a little weird because we like to talk about things that are different. So this comes from Syracuse.com.
Oh, New York. Oh, man.
Upstate New York man bursts into flames when police use taser on him. In Catskill, New York, an upstate New York man was in grave condition in the hospital after police used a taser to subdue him, and he burst into flames, authorities said on Friday. The Times-Union of Albany reported that the 29-year-old man walked into Catskill Village Police Department last weekend and got into a confrontation with officers. Chief Dave Darling confirmed to the newspaper that the officers deployed a taser to subdue the man, who had doused himself with hand sanitizer, and the man then burst into flames.
It sounds like suicide by cop, to be honest.
I mean, that's what it sounds like to me, but like, why did he douse himself with hand sanitizer? Like,
well, that if you're like, and not to be an asshole, but I mean, if you know you want to kill yourself in a certain manner, but you don't want to do it, if you set it yourself up in a certain kind of manner like that,
did he know he was going to catch on fire though? Like,
yeah, I mean, if he, I guarantee he knew what he was doing. That's just like people who create certain devices that are reactive in certain ways. They know what the fuck they're doing. I guarantee this guy knew what he was doing.
This dude was out of his fucking mind and just fucking decided to throw fucking hand
sanitizer. Was it just hand sanitizer? I gotta ask.
I mean, I had initially said, because Amy's the one who brought this story to me. And, you know, when I started reading it, I'm like, was the guy drinking? Like, maybe he was like sweating alcohol out of his pores and it was so bad that, you know, maybe something along those lines. It kind of worked as an accelerant too. You know, that was initially my thought. I didn't realize the fact that he had doused himself with hand sanitizer.
See, I don't know, because salt with the sweat glands and all that jazz too. I mean, I don't know.
I've worked with people on the roof who have been pretty drunk, dude. You can smell alcohol coming out of some shit.
I've done my third shifts with retail, and I've done my share. I ain't gonna lie. Past is the past. The retail life is the real fucking struggle. To me, it sounds like suicide by cop. Now, you could skew it because it's an article about a police station in New York. So, I mean, I don't know. Something to me just straight up says it was suicide by cop.
Probably. I mean, he probably went in there with the confrontation in mind that he wanted. Now, whether or not he knew that he was going to burst into flames, though, from dousing himself with hand sanitizer, I don't know about that, but I mean, yeah, I think you are right in that aspect, but I don't know if they realized that he would go up into flames when they tasered his ass.
I guarantee the cops had no clue.
He's fucking well done at this point.
If he had something tells me if he had a confrontation with the guy and he doused himself, something tells me he knew what he was doing and he was hoping to take that cop with him that he had the argument with. Something tells me suicide by cop and he was hoping to take the other guy with him.
Well, it didn't end well because he is Kentucky Fried at this point.
I just feel like there's something we're missing. Like I don't understand.
I want to feel that I am missing something. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Because this is just fucking crazy.
I really don't. Because I don't think hand sanitizer is that fucking flammable.
I didn't think so either. But I mean, depending on the mix, if certain companies do make it, that it does have a high alcohol content, so it is possible.
There are some that do. And I mean, you got to remember too, when the whole COVID hit with sanitizer, like some of those higher end ones were getting like fucking sold at a high rate and were pricey as fuck.
And I have heard of alcoholics and stuff drinking hand sanitizer to try to get more alcohol if they run out. So it's not that's not a first, unfortunately. Yeah. That does happen.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But goddamn, dude.
Yeah, what a way to fucking go, man. You get tasered, next thing you know, you're fucking fried.
Right. That's some fucking deep fried pizza.
What a way to go. Well done. Well done. That's all I can say.
That is funny.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit, dude. Yeah, interesting weekend for sure for news. I mean, I want to try to keep doing more stories like this and some interesting stuff that really brings up good conversation. This is pretty good. I just want to put it out there that we do upload the show now to not just YouTube. So if you're looking for an alternative, we also use Rumble. So if you look up the show Against the Insanity, you should be able to find us on either one. And you want to subscribe, please, by all means, go ahead. We're going to work on hosting the show as we get further down here. You know, right now we're just trying to do it with the least expensive option that we have. So until then, you'll find the show there. But yeah, I think that's about it. Episode 5, Against the Insanity. Until next week, gentlemen. See ya.
Peace.
I'm going to keep this going until you cut it just to be an asshole.
Shut up.